Hello and welcome everyone to today's presentation of Semcon. My name is Stefan Knutsson. I'm an equity analyst here at ABG, and with me today I have the CEO of Semcon, Markus Granlund. Welcome.
Thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me to the Investor Day. I want to just briefly present Semcon, and for you who have not previously been following our company, just to give you a brief background. We're of course the partner in advanced product development, production optimization, and digital product information aftermarket solutions. That's what we do, and in these three areas are our main focus. Going on to the next slide, please. So briefly, we're an international technology company. We have two business areas structured within engineering and digital services and product information. We're around 1,800 dedicated employees, and 2019 we had a group revenue of 1.9 billion SEK. We turned 40 this year, so we were founded in 1980 when we're listed on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange and present in 7 countries at 30 sites. So in fairly international company, but our main focus is in the Nordic region. We put people first. As far as we are concerned, technology has no purpose of its own. It's the value it adds to people and our planet that is most important. And by uniting physical and digital solutions, we create user experiences that matter. This is how we make a difference. And this is the why that all our dedicated employees work towards every day. And it's extremely important that we have this why as our focus to create the inspiration in our everyday work together with our customers. So next slide, please. As we work towards making this planet a better place and also working with the people focus, we work with sustainable innovations in 3 dimensions with our customers, both retrofit by using existing products and systems where we use R&D to make those even better. We also use reinvent with new products and services where we create those together with our customers. And now it's also a very clear trend that we also work with reimagine, working with our customers with regard to business models and offerings to make those offerings even more sustainable. Sharing business models is, of course, one of the clear trends that we see. And in the top left-hand corner, you have one of the examples of the hull skater that we have created together with Gjorts, which is well known for selling their paint. And here we have created a hull skater that goes across the hulls of the ships that cleans the hull and makes sure that we can reduce CO2 emissions by 12.5% by reducing the fuel consumption of the ships and also making the oceans around the world cleaner. So that's one of the inventions and new products that we put on the market. We also work with Getinge within surgery rooms, and you see other examples here to the left. Next slide, please. We are with our customers through the whole development chain, both going from strategy and design over to prototyping, piloting, industrialization operations, and then aftermarket. So we are often in very early stages together with our customers with regard to product development, production optimization, and with the aftermarket offerings that we have. Next slide, please. Looking into the financial development in our company recently, we have been on a very, very good journey for the past few years, strengthening our profitability and also our financial position. We have, due to COVID-19, made a few restructurings in the second quarter, but as you can see, we have a very strong financial position now with 186 million SEK cash and now operating margin of 8.5%. And adjusting for those 37 restructuring costs in Q2, we have an adjusted operating margin accumulated of 9.6%. Moving on to the next slide, please. And the next slide, please. Also been working very hard to improve the cash flow over the past few years. And the cash flow from current activities have gone clearly up and are now up to 213 accumulated this year, which is a clear improvement. Of course, a decrease in tied up working capital has helped to strengthen the cash flow in 2020. And as we have a very strong growth focus going forward, we will tie up a bit more capital, but we will not be going back to the cash flow situation that we had a few years ago. Next slide, please. And with regard to liquidity development, this has also been a very strong focus from the management and the board of directors in the company to improve the financial stability. We have really succeeded in doing that. And during the last few years, we've also made a few acquisitions. One acquisition in Germany, which is Haas GmbH, with focus on aftermarket towards the railway industry, where we see huge investments all over Europe at the moment. And the last acquisition that we made in the beginning of this year in Q1, Extractor, which is a company providing digital platforms for learning management systems and digital training, where we are now one of the largest in the Swedish market and in the Nordic region. This demand is also increasing now due to the pandemic, of course, when classroom trainings are less favorable and everyone is doing their training digitally. So we are now well positioned for further acquisitions with a strong financial position. Next slide, please. Just to give you a short update regarding COVID-19 and how that has affected our operations, I'm extremely proud of my team here at Semcon. We have successfully been working at a distance, keeping the high productivity in the operations and even strengthened the productivity during COVID-19, turning to distance working within 1 week. Taking restructuring measures, doing that in 1 month in April, and we have been really efficient in keeping the costs down and keeping cost control during these times during the pandemic. And we have also during this time moved in the strategic direction that we want to accelerate the transition with even more diversified industry verticals. And we also adhere, of course, to local recommendation and stay safe. So next slide, please. Looking in a bit to the business area product information and their offering. Here we have our own platforms and digital tools that we provide to our customers, which we are populating with user information, service information, parts and accessories, product information, and also training solutions that I mentioned just briefly. And on top of that, we're also providing strategic support and operational excellence with regard to this. Next slide, please. I can show you a bit what's happening here. This is a business area that is now accumulated during this year, is performing an operating margin above 15%. We see a good demand for digital aftermarket solutions. We have more than 75% of revenue from long-term contracts where we have our own digital platforms. Of course, this creates a good environment for long-term customer contracts where we have been very successful over the last few years. And we have also anticipated strong earnings at the end of this year, of course. In the world around us, you've probably seen a few capital market days from industry companies where it's clear that the focus on investing into the aftermarket and service business for our customers is increasing. This creates resilience for our customers in turbulent times, which means that you need to have a good backbone with regard to product information and good, stable digital platforms where you can distribute the service information and product information for those products. So the customers are investing more in aftermarket solutions at the moment, and that's, of course, driving sales for us. And we are creating the technical documentation and digital platforms which are not core activities for our customers, which makes it more likely for them to outsource that kind of operations to us, which is where we create the long-term contracts with the customers. So if you go to the next slide as well, just to give you an example of what we do, one of our customers is well-known AGCO, which is the largest company in the world producing and selling agricultural equipment. And here we had a focus together with them to use Semcon's digital platforms to provide digital information to with regard to their equipment, which is then distributed to the farmers, and where we used best practices and technology innovations to do that. So we created one global interface with unified processes and standards. We used one master language for this group and increased reuse of information that could be used with owner's information, service information, training information, and so on. And we, least but not last, also improved the dealer and farmer experience by creating this for them. They wanted a more efficient operation. They had the creation of documentation being made in 16 different sites around the world. Now they have centralized this, and normally when we enter into these managed service contracts, we are able to reduce the cost of the customer for this segment by around 30%, which makes it very attractive to enter into a partnership with Semcon in this area. And also by using our digital platforms for distribution and populating the information also creates, of course, a long-term relationship with our customers. So moving on to the next slide, please. The other business area is providing engineering and digital services. This is where we provide strategic design and innovation, advanced engineering, production optimization, and digital services, and also providing advisory services and project and quality management. This is, of course, a strong trend. The R&D is increasing, and technology is playing an even bigger part in our society. That's why we see strong trends here also for our growth going forward within production optimization and product development and connected products. If you go on to the next slide, please. So here we see during the last year, we have accelerated our industry diversification. We have grown within life science by 23%, not the least by within production within life science. It's a very strong area for us. And we are one of the strongest suppliers here in the Nordic region towards the life science industry. We have used successful cost savings here as well and created better resilience in this business area in more turbulent times. And as I mentioned, the investments in R&D are still a top priority for our customers. And the demand for our services, when customers don't have budgets to increase number of own employees and increase their fixed cost, is of course that they need to keep the R&D activities up. And that's when they also use us to accelerate their transition to make their production facilities and products more connected and more smart. So the connectivity trend continues both for products and for production. Moving on to the next slide, please. So one example here is the partnership that we have with Powercell for green fuel cells. We help them to optimize their production for new robot cells and to create more efficient fuel cells. So as you know, the fuel cells are 100% CO2 emission free, and we are their product optimization partner through automation and robotics. Moving on to the next slide. So just showing you a brief film regarding what we do within artificial intelligence and how we use product information and our connected and AI competences to provide value to our customers. Go ahead, show the film.
With more complex technology than ever before, still, we expect it to run smoothly at all times. Besides frustrated users, the cost of downtime can be severe, making fast and correct service a top priority. Semcon has developed a unique AI-powered virtual assistant to help service technicians find the information needed to solve complex problems, just by asking for it. Let's have a look at how it works. We have used the latest knowledge from the complete field of artificial intelligence. Our experts built a data miner that constantly and automatically crawls through huge amounts of data in different sources, closed or open, cloud-based or local. The information is then structured in an advanced semantic layer, making the data accessible for the AI-powered virtual assistant. The assistant has a sophisticated level of speech recognition, so regardless what situation you're in, it'll understand your question. It'll talk and reason with you. And then the answer to your question is presented in a straightforward manner, making complex service easier and faster than ever before.
Yes, so this is a good example of what we can provide, and this is, of course, our own intellectual property that we have created, and we see a huge interest from a lot of industry customers within this segment. Now, going on to outlook and strategic direction. Next slide, please. We're on this fantastic journey, and I'm really proud of the team here at Semcon, what we have achieved during the past few years to put us in the position where we are now. We did during 2015, 2017 a refinement and refocus with new strategy, a divestment in our operations in Germany, and focusing on financing and capital structure to achieve the target of getting to a stronger financial position, which we did. Now, 2018 to 2020, we have worked with expansion and digitalization. We have done some restructurings in engineering and digital services to put us in a better position for growth. And we have had an extensive digital agenda. We've taken investments and made acquisitions during these years, and we've reached the group financial targets prior to COVID-19. The target has been to strengthen the profitability, which we have really done during this past time. And now it's time for the 2021 to 23 focus, which is growth and profitability, and to both increase profitability and also grow, both with organic growth, because we see the main trends are with us, both within digitalization and also within aftermarket services. And we also have the financial strength to make acquisition as well to boost our growth. And we will continue to work with continued digitalization. Next slide, please. So yesterday in 2015, we were at operating margin of 0.4. We had a non-automotive share of 33%. We had a net debt of 78 million. Now we are at 8.5% operating margin. We have increased and moved into other verticals as well. So now non-automotive share is 66%. We have a net cash of 186 million. And now the focus is continue to make sure that we grow and grow even faster and also increase our profitability to be at least on par with our financial targets, of course. Now, next slide, please. And so the focus now is, of course, to continue the transition towards digital solutions, continued focus on managed service and solution-based sales, be the employer of choice, of course, to continue our recruitments, high productivity, efficiency, and gross margin, which we have been very successful in achieving the last few years and will continue, and accelerate growth, both organic and through strategic acquisitions. Next one, please. And so the targets now, as I mentioned, we've reached those. Operating margin of 8%. We're on 8.5 now. Equity asset ratio above 30%, 59.3% in Q3. And dividend yield is, according to target, 1/3 of the profit after tax. Although, if we look historically, we've always been paying out more than 50%. Last time we paid out dividend in 2019 was at 57%. Next slide, please. So we have a solid position for future growth, growing need for technology. There is increased focus on service and aftermarket solutions, as I've mentioned. We have a unique combination of digital solutions and advanced engineering. We have a beneficial industry diversification now moving into new verticals. And extremely important, inspired colleagues, the basis for profitable growth. We have now on very high levels, historically on employee engagement and employee satisfaction. And we have a very strong financial position, as you've seen. Next slide, please. And the year-end report 2020 will be published on February 10th. Next slide, please. So, as I said, we put people first, then technology, all to make sure that we put people and planet in focus. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Markus, for the presentation. I want to start off with some question on the product information side. You mentioned the collaboration with AGCO, and it's interesting to hear. Is it mainly cost savings that the customers will benefit from when they become a customer of yours, or is there also other parts?
Now, their main focus was to really increase the value for the end user of their products, to ensure that they have even more loyal customers that where AGCO will benefit from repurchasing of AGCO products, to have a loyal customer base. And you get a loyal customer base by having really outstanding service information and making sure that the farmer gets the best possible experience of their products that they can possibly achieve. So that was their main focus. Then, of course, it's not bad to be able to lower their cost as well significantly, as we have done in that case.
And you also mentioned that this is often non-core activities for your customers that choose to do a managed service contract. Is there true for also the biggest organization, or is there a sweet spot that you target more mid and small size organizations?
I mean, AGCO is a very, very large company, the largest company within, as I mentioned, agricultural products. And most of our customers within this segment are multinational, very, very large companies. Of course, we do have companies in the mid-size segment as well, but the usual customer for us in this segment are the really, really big customers where they see strategic advantages in going with Semcon as their partner within product information and aftermarket services. And our customer target really is the customers that are in industries where they provide advanced products and systems, where there are requirements for updates, both with regard to digital platforms and with regard to the product information that goes into that system. That means that we have ongoing business and recurring revenues to a larger extent compared to customers which are in segments where there are more simple products.
And since you launched this product with AGCO, have you seen an increased interest in your offering from other customers because of that?
Absolutely. And we see that we have a large number of ongoing discussions at the moment. And as we've seen now with a bit of a downturn in the economy, of course, and the business cycle that also was initiated before COVID-19, we saw an increased interest in getting the backbone of the customer's aftermarket business really up to speed and up to date to make sure that they can make use of that to be even better in increasing the growth of their aftermarket services, which is a clear target for many of our customers. Some of them even set targets now to have 50% of their total revenues should come from the aftermarket business. And you don't do that just by putting an app in place. You need to have the backbone in order, and you need to handle all the legacy of product information, user information, the service information, parts and accessories information in order, and we can do that for them, both from a strategic point of view and make sure that we can deliver on that together with them.
And would you agree that you, because of this development, that you are more competing with maybe IT consultants and software companies? And if that is correct, what sets you apart in this case?
I mean, the traditional IT companies don't provide the expertise that we have within product information and how you structure information in the way that you do the authoring and topic-based writing within this segment. So we both have the digital platforms to populate and distribute the information, but we also use multi-site deliveries, for example, from Hungary, where we have more than 200 colleagues doing the authoring of all that complicated technical documentation. And that's usually not that the IT companies have in their offerings. And that's why we are one of the largest companies within this segment in the world today.
And then going over to engineering and digital solutions, what would you say that where are you in the transition away from the automotive sector? You have decreased it quite a lot, but where do you stand right now?
First of all, we're very proud of our heritage within the automotive industry, even though we have taken the strategic direction to really grow other verticals and done that very successfully. And now the automotive industry is 34% of our total revenue. It's a fair share, even though the competence that we have in that area is where also our customers take a lot of investments going forward. It's within electrification, it's connectivity, and it's aftermarket services. So we are quite comfortable with the position that we're in now. We have created a company now over the past few years, which is much more resilient with a stronger position. I foresee that we will have a larger growth percentage-wise within, for example, life science and the energy sector and those kind of industries and the manufacturing industry outside of automotive industry. But we will also have make sure that we can support our automotive customers in areas where they take a lot of investments now within electrification and connectivity, that's something that we see as both profitable for us and is creating fantastic value for our customers.
Thank you, Markus. I would like to has been very interesting to hear your journey and where you're aiming for, and thank you for coming and presenting with us here at ABG.
Thank you so much. Thank you.